The new Insta360 X4 is such a cool little camera, but what are the best settings to get the most out of it? Well, let's have a look at that. If you want the absolute highest quality and have good lighting conditions and so on, then you should use 8K and 30 or 25 frames per second, depending on your preference. This will just give you the absolute best picture available with this camera, because it will allow you to reframe the shot in post-production, but still export it in 4K. But with that said, I don't think you should be afraid of going down one stop in the resolution to 5.7K, because here you still get a picture that is larger than a 4K image, and you can crank up the shutter speed up to 60 frames per second. So this is great if you want to be able to slow down your clips, if you want to have some slow motion or work with the timer mapping. And I personally use the 5.7K quite often because I want to be able to use the higher frame rates. And now for the rest of the settings, we are going to use Mega View for our field of view to get as wide as possible field of view. Change the color profile to log, and this way you will be able to have more control over your image in post-production. And I will create a second video on the post-production workflow with this camera, like next week or something. So make sure to subscribe for that, because we will go through how I color grade, how I get the best settings, so that I don't lose any quality when I want to upload my footage. But if you want to use the footage straight out of the camera and then just upload it, then you don't need to change the color profile to log. You can just keep it at standard colors, because this way you will have nicer colors straight out of the camera. But if you're going to do some post-production, then you want to change it to log. And then I think you should go up to settings and then swipe to the right. Go into settings and you want to go down to image settings. Here you want to make sure that video encoding is set to H.265, and this will give you the most out of your image. Then you also want to change the bitrate from standard to high, and the video sharpness, bring that from medium down to low, because you don't want your camera to overly sharpen your image in an unnatural way, because it's just going to look weird. And you can always sharpen your image in post-production instead. And the rest of the settings I almost always keep at automatic. And there is a good reason for that, and that is because when I use this camera, I mostly use it for what it is built for. It is an action camera, and when I use it, therefore I want to use it for that purpose. And in those situations, I don't really want to think about the lighting. Is the lighting going to change during the shot? Because for the most part, I just want to stick it onto something and have it record everything in the highest possible quality without me having to think about it, because I'm probably quite busy with thinking about, well, riding that bike, skiing down that hill. So rather than having it in manual and just trying to keep all of those settings in mind all the time, I just have it in automatic. But of course there are exceptions for this. Sometimes I might want to create a specific shot, then I can go in and change the settings to manual. And then one final thing that is really important to remember, and that is to change the settings if you are using the lens guards on the camera or not. So if you're using the lens guards, make sure to go in and turn that on, or if you don't, turn it off, because this will just make it easier for the camera to know how it's going to stitch the video together. And those were the best settings that you should have on your Insta360 X4 if you want to get the most out of it. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so that you don't miss out on the video where we are talking about the process of the video files from this camera. I will see you in the next one. Bye.